Today we're reviewing Vevor's 320 watt 12-inch commercial meat slicer. It showed up to the house within a few days of ordering in a very well packed box. Weighs roughly 46 pounds, and on the inside it was packed quite nicely so nothing was moving around, did not get damaged. Here it is on the counter unpacked out of the box without the guard assembled on it. As you can see, it's stainless steel, it's a sizable unit, has very good motion on the slides out of the box, which I would expect from a brand new unit. Has rubberized feet, as you could see. It has, of course, your meat pusher, and it slides quite nicely. At the top, it has a blade sharpener. Nice thing about this unit is it's going to be easy to clean because of the way they made this unit, which most commercial slicers are very similar from my experience. As you can see on the back of the unit, you have all your typical items. Back around to the front, you'll see your thickness adjustment bar and your on-off button. They are waterproof, which is nice, so you don't have to worry about that aspect. All in all, very nice unit so far. And I only had a couple things that I didn't like. As you can see, the adjustment is quite fluid on it and works well. One thing I didn't like was the milling on the adjustment knob was not as clean. On the meat pusher, there was a rough edge on the bottom there, and I did contact Vevor about that, and they said that if anybody has an issue like this, that if you contact customer service, they will take care of you by getting a replacement or compensating in a monetary manner. Only other thing I didn't like was the screws to hold the blade down. The instruction manual said Phillips, and they were actually Allen, which was quite disappointing, but not a big deal. Now on to slicing. This was a pork loin that was freezer burned, so I was just cooking it up for this test. And ironically, I had a flare up in the Weber and it burnt, so that's kind of why it looks the way it does. It was a little bit drier, so it did start to flake just a little bit more than I would hope. But as you can see from the slices, the unit actually moves quite well, has good action back and forth, and it did a really good job shaving and doing thicker slices. You will see just how quick you can move through quite a bit of meat on this, and it does just work really well. Compared to my other slicer, the action on the slide is much smoother, so I cannot complain about that. All in all, it's a great unit. Now, right here, I just want a word to the wise. When this happens and you have an infall, make sure you shut the slicer off, which is what I did. On the back side, you can be safe getting your hand near the blade, but on the front side, don't. Here's the meat sliced. The thickness of all of them was very uniformed. Again, the meat was a little overcooked and dried, so it did flake up a little bit, and as I expected it to, but all in all, it made really good slices on it. Now here it is slicing a turkey breast that I had cooked as well, and this slices very smoothly, and the pieces come out really nice. And this one, I had almost no flaking of the meat, which with a super sharp blade, I'd expect not to have any of that. And it just moves through this piece really easily and really cleanly. All in all, again, very happy with the results that I got at this stage. Now that that turkey breast is sliced up, we're moving on to another one. This is more of a deli style block that I got from Sam's Club, I believe. And I wasn't cutting it with, or excuse me, against the grain. I was cutting it with it. And it flaked off a little bit at parts because of the way I was slicing. I just didn't pay attention to that when I started. But all in all, once I got going, it was dropping slices nicely. I had them stacked up and I was putting them on a plate to the side. And then we did use our Vevor chamber vat. As you can see, the turkey's slicing really nice. The action on the slide is really well. And we're finishing up the last bit of this block that I purchased. Again, don't forget to turn the machine off before you go to remove any chunks from the front side of the blade. After this, I switched up to a block of smoked cheddar that I did to see how it would slice that up. And it sliced through it quite well. I was surprised that it moved through it without bogging down. All in all, very pleased with that aspect of this slicer. In the end, if you're looking for a good slicer that's not going to break the bank, I definitely think this is going to be a good unit for you to have. If you're looking for something a little higher end, you want it to be a little bit prettier, then yeah, you can spend 3 or 4 times that amount elsewhere. All in all, very happy with this slicer. In the end, cleanup was really well. I apologize that I don't have a clip for that. It didn't turn out very well. Took me roughly 10 minutes from end to end to clean it up. I took off the slide tray, took off the blade, the guard, etc. And then for the main body of it, I used some Dawn dish soap, the foaming spray actually. Sprayed it, scrubbed it, and then I put a towel underneath of it and just used water to rinse it all down. And then the blade and everything else I just did in the sink like normal. But from disassemble to reassemble, it was about 10 minutes, so about on par with the other commercial slicer that I have and have used many times. I don't really have many negative things to say about it. It is a less expensive unit than some of the other ones on the market. And with any unit, you're going to have pros and cons. I do know that Vevor has been very responsive every time I've asked them questions. And in the past, with stuff that I've had, I had an issue with one thing. They responded really well, and they did take care of us. So if you're, again, looking for a slicer to do pretty much anything from bacon to cheeses, etc., then this is definitely a great unit, especially at the price point that this one is at. I'd recommend it at this point. Now, I will follow up on this later once I have more time under my belt, but if you're interested, definitely click on the link and take a look at this. And also don't forget to use the additional discount code that you'll see in the description. Thanks for watching. Any questions, let me know.